Story about somebody much more well off than I expecting me to meet their financial obligations while demanding that I falsify medical paperwork and commit insurance fraud while withholding pay. Basically, my wife and I had just immigrated back to the US and needed jobs and a place to stay. We thought we'd struck gold when a fabulously wealthy woman hired myself as a groundskeeper and maintenance guy, and my wife as a cook and maid for her elderly parents. The pay was low, but part of it involved being able to live rent-free in the two-and house on the estate. The elderly couple were extremely snile, but still the sweetest old folks you can imagine. It was a really nice property, so for a few months everything was great. Then about 3 months in, my wife noticed the pantry, which was itself bigger than our living room, was not being restocked by the grocery delivery company that normally did these things. We contacted our employer, who flew into a rage that managing that sort of thing was our responsibility, so she had cancelled the delivery service without telling us. It became apparent that she fully expected us to notice and take care of it ourselves. When I asked her how she expected us to buy groceries for her parents when she didn't even tell us she had cancelled the service, she became extremely irate. Direct quote: "Then why the fuck do I sign a check to each of you every week for?" Yeah, this bitch earnestly thought we should be using our personal paychecks, which were not very big, to pay for her parents' upkeep. After much deliberation, she grudgingly left us a credit card to go out and buy groceries for her parents, which added to our workload at no extra pay. But we didn't have anywhere else to stay and no other job lined up, so we just dealt with it. Well, another few months go by and she contacts us again. She wants us to sign something. The paperwork shows up and it's requests for medical documentation from an insurance company. The chick wants us to attach our timesheets to it, sign it, and send it back to the insurance company. Well, I read it and it becomes apparent she has eldercare insurance to pay for live-in nursing services and has told them we are nurses so she can try to get them to pay our wages. I contact her and inform her that we have not provided medical care, are not licensed to, and will not fill out the paperwork. Cue mother of all shitstorms. Karen goes nuts, screaming into the phone about how much she has done for us and we owe her, how she will report that we are neglecting her parents, and then call immigration on us and have us deported. I don't think she ever realized I am a citizen and my wife immigrated legally. I tell her that what she is asking us to do is fraud, and that I'd rather get fired than arrested for a felony. I tell her she has 90 days to find a replacement for us and we will be moving out. Things devolve into her screaming about how much money she has and how she is besties with the cops and has a bunch of expensive lawyers to sue me with. I suggest she asks one of those lawyers how they feel about defending her for insurance fraud and hang up. My wife and I continue our services for the old folks while looking for a new place, because they were actually super nice and the situation was their fault. They were also very senile, mistaking us for other people they knew, forgetting they had kids, etc., etc., so they can't be held accountable for their daughter's behavior as they lack any ability to intervene. Then, instead of a paycheck, I get a bill for the last 8 months of rent and a note that she isn't paying our wages until we pay her back for everything we owe her, plus interest. She had valued the rent of the two-and house provided in our contract at more than she paid us monthly, so would never actually be able to pay it off. Yeah, this bitch actually tried to make us into indentured servants. So, without responding, I continue performing my duties, studiously keeping logs on our hours, and retaining all the receipts for how much more we owed her. 90 days go by without a paycheck. We purchased groceries using the card she provided, which she added to our debts. About a week before the 90-day, we contact government agencies. First, the State Department of Labor to report exploitation. Second, Adult Protective Services to inform them that an elderly couple that requires caretaking are going to no longer have caretakers and that their daughter has refused to provide it. Then we call her and inform her she is going to be receiving some phone calls from these agencies shortly and should probably contact her attorney. There was about a 60-second dead silence on the phone, then hysterical laughter and she hung up. Okay, not the response I expected, but fuck it. One more week and we're gone. 8 hours later she shows up in the driveway in a rental car. This bitch bought a one-way plane ticket to come out to the estate and report us to the cops for trespassing on the property. This, of course, decent work because we have a tenancy contract, and if she wants us gone she has to utilize the legal eviction process. She then tries to claim we are illegal aliens, which a quick glance in our wallets at our IDs by the cops proves false. She is starting to shriek at them about if they know who she is or how expensive her lawyers are. The cops look that unique combination of irritated and amused that cops dealing with some dumb shit they aren't allowed to comment on get and advise her not to talk to us or attempt to enter or go near the guest house. She moves into their house that night and presumably takes over our duties. I would go out on the balcony every day for the week before I left to drink my coffee, and smile as I stared across the big, luxurious lawn to see her standing in the picture window, arms crossed, glaring death at me. To make a long story short, the expensive lawyers she has convinced her to pay our back wages with additional interest for violating state labor laws by withholding them. Turns out trying to enforce actual slavery is still illegal after all. Who knew? And she gets to pay for that privilege too. Exactly. A good lawyer is counsel, and advises the client how to behave in their best interests, not an intellectual thug you can just sick on people. Is an expensive lawyer one with a weight problem? Honestly, she's probably not happy about it. But her lawyer saved her some big bucks here convincing her to pay them off. She paid the lawyer to talk some sense into her. Worth every penny, just not the way she thinks. You almost got 69 likes, mate. Thank you for telling your story. Not everyone knows their rights. Your story proves that having money and being a bully doesn't always work. My hope is that someone reading this will realize it shouldn't work in their lives either. And always keep that paperwork. American style of rich people still living like pre-1861. I love it when the eye of powerful lawyers gambit fails. People act like lawyers are some sort of shaman who can't wave their lost stick at something while chanting in Latin, and make it go your way. The thing is, lawyers can't actually legally assist you in committing a crime. If you get caught out badly enough, then the best they can do is try to limit how much your doomed case is going to cost you. Yes, if you pay enough there will always be somebody to tell you what you want to hear or maybe do your dirty work for you, but you are paying them to stick their neck on the same line as yours. The majority of lawyers are going to look at a case like this and say pay them what you owe them so you don't get fined sued for 20 times that sum and hope they drop the case. She should have gone to jail. Elder abuse and neglect for not providing in home care added to the other fraudulent stuff. Sadly, I came across something on Reddit a month or so back. It was a screenshot of an ad posted on Facebook. The TL drive was basically indentured servitude to a family for room and board. They were looking for immigrants specifically that they could give this job opportunity to. Thank goodness UP knew their rights. Too many people don't feel they have the choice or chance to exercise their rights. The worst part was a lot of the comments in the thread. Far too many people seemed to think that since a lot of immigrants would be coming from war-torn countries that this would be a welcome deal. These Redditors actually felt that it was acceptable because at least they weren't going hungry or being bombed or any of the other heinous acts they go through during their life just to survive. If you find the post, I would love to read it.